Welcome to Consumer Behavior Marketing 247, offered online by Harper College. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. Well, we're starting week 9, and we only have one chapter this week. Lucky! Yeah, chapter 17. And chapter 17, when I look at chapter 17, is going to be looking at outlet selection. Now, I mentioned before, if you ever get a chance, if you're going to be going into marketing, I teach a course, or another instructor like myself teaches Marketing 106, which is retail merchandising. There we go into depth about different types of shelving units, different types of layout for the stores and everything else. We talked a little bit about that last week. This is just more a little bit of extension. Now we're actually going to be looking at the store. So what do we have for this week? Yeah, you're still going to be worth 50 points, even though it's going to be one chapter. So what I have to do, let me just click on here. I'm just looking at my own overview. You're going to have the learning objectives. It's and I'll get into that a little bit more. You have, let's go right into the form. The form, you're going to be looking at different, you're going to take two internet retailers for the same products. I have listed several for you in the folder. However, you are welcome to use other ones that you may want. But you need to provide the links if you're going to use different. Yeah, I got one for a Walmart, I got one for Target, I got one for Sears, for Macy's. So you could look at their links and kind of evaluate them, and then you'll look at the links, look at their atmosphere, look at how are the links set up to give you encouragement for impulse buying, even on the online, and then non-purchase reasons for visiting. Well, some people they go in there. A lot of times they go into like a Macy's catalog, and they may be looking for stuff, but they may not be buying at that time. And even though I go into the link, it's like I go into the store. In a face-to-face store, usually uh, when a customer leaves without anything else, there's no one else just evaluating why. And online, when a customer comes into the thing and looks at different sites and looks at different sizes, looks at different patterns, and then leaves my site, I'm always wondering, why did that person come in? Why didn't he purchase? So how do I get those motivational triggers? So anyway, so you're going to look at this non-purchasing reasons for visiting the site, risk reduction, and you'll find that out from the chapter, and service. Look at when you're looking even at online site, what kind of service do they provide? Remember, in the reading here, you're going to talk about avatar, an avatar or advertiser. If you look at a lot of sites now, you could, when you come in there, it's a little bit annoying, but I think they're trying to get me to understand that there is a person live at the same time. I may go into like a Best Buy or some of the other sites. I'm just trying to think offhand, and then at the same time, I'm in the site looking around at some product, and all of a sudden this little thing pops up and say, "Hey, do you want to talk to somebody? Could we help you? Could we give you some suggestion? We have a person live right now that could chat with you." And it could be a chat. I haven't expanded it, but it could be like an email or virtual communication like we're doing now, or it could be a different type of a chat. So anyway, so you go through that. Now you're gonna go. I want you to go through any of the two sites. Or you can select your own two sites. But when you go through it, go all the way through. Pick something, unless you want to buy, but pick something and go all the way through to the end, but don't purchase it. And what I want you to see is how they try to stimulate you to buy other things before you even leave. You know what I mean? What are the things that they talk about? And when you get to the site, is the site trustworthy? Yeah. Do they take PayPal? Some people don't like PayPal. Do I have to register for the site? Little things about, and look at the two different sites. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing in the form. Now, and the other thing, now some people may want to do a combination. So you may do a target, and then all of a sudden you do a target online, and see if you could do contrasting how the atmosphere is online. Is it different than the same atmosphere that you would have in the store? And then you give us some information. How's the store laid out versus how's the online for a target? Is it similar? So if I'm going to a target, what do you call it, online, are they still categorized, or product lines and product mixes are set up the same way as I would see in a face-to-face store? Okay, so you have that. And one more thing I want you to do is to you have let's see, one more oh yeah, yeah, I want you to look. I have two videos in there. I have one on what do you call it? One of the videos is on. I'm trying to think off my mind. One video is basically on. Let me just flip it back in here. I go in here, I forgot what the videos are on. So that's okay, no problem, class. Because I want to make sure I get the right videos in here. So you can go into the forums, and when you go into the forums, I have a site in here that says sites to visit to help you complete your forms and understand your business. And you have one an outlet selection for whole foods. Go under, look at that video. So you look at the two sites, which is very easy. You can look at the two sites that you're going to select, the two internet sites, and then you're going to come in here and you look at the video. Now this one on the Whole Food. Whole Food is open up. Now you see a lot of Whole Foods out here, but on this video they're opening up in the Detroit area. Now if anyone knows about the Detroit area, it's economically depressed. So why is Whole Food even opening up a Whole Food in an area where people may not have the disposable income that somebody else, for lack of better words, in higher suburban where the employment may not be quite as high, or the economic condition may not be as bad as in the Detroit region. But now Whole Food also has a marketing strategy. I'm opening up here. Are they opening up the full product line of the expensive end, or a product that stuff that they want to maybe move at a different to a different level, or are they trying to open up a Whole Foods for a different whole target market, maybe not for the elite or the higher end, but on the lower. So look at that one. The other one is J.C. Penney. Now J.C. Penney's, when you look at that site again, look at the two videos, look at the other sites, and when you look at the J.C. Penney site, look at the J.C. Penney on pricing, and they're going to talk about different pricing schemes. When you're looking at your research project, you're going to come up with some kind of pricing scheme for your research. You're going to give me a general idea what the products are, and just think what the J.C. Penney. And again, just give me your feedback on it. There's no like a set of other questions, but you look at it and give me the feedback. And then you open up on the other folder I have in there, and basically I have a website already connected to Target, Walmart, J.C. Penney, and all of them. So that basically takes care of our forums. Now, what do we have? Now you also have on this week, we have, what do you call it? You have one quiz. Now, for chapter, here's what I'm going to do for the quiz. It's 30 points. Remember, if you look at some of the points that you are to acquire within this online, I've got a what do you call it, a fallback that says the points are adjusted depending on how the class. Since it's a smaller class, I don't want to overtax you with too much homework and everything else. So instead of some of the, I've increased some of the, what do you call it, the quiz points to make up some of the assignments. Instead of giving another assignment, it's in a paper and write it up and turn that in. So you do the forms, the papers, and your regular papers. Since it's a 12-week course, this will work out better for you. So if I'm looking at the quiz, this week for the quiz, you're going to chapter 13. You're going to have 10 questions. Off of chapter 17, I'm sorry. Off of chapter 17, 10 questions. Each multiple choice is going to be worth 1.5 points. And then you have 5 questions that's going to be a short essay or short answers where it's 3 points each. Okay, so you get a little flavor. And looking at this, you'll understand this chapter fairly well, and you'll do good on that. So that takes care of our quizzes, our forums, and I think we should be pretty good. So now this week, remember, there's only one. I'm not going to talk too much about. You still have the learning objectives. This is more of the layout. This chapter is talking about the multi-channel retailing. That's looking at different retailer brands. You're looking at retail advertising. You're looking at the outlet image. Remember, just as we talked about, consumers have a certain image you want to portray. An image may be different than what the image they're portraying outside. Same thing with an organization. And that whole image, the brand and everything else, is when I walk into the store. If I walk into a dollar store, I already know that it's a dollar store. It's a low end. I'm not getting too much service. I take it as it is, because that's what you go on. If I walk into a Macy, higher end, you see the people more in the suits, dressed up, very clean, wider aisles, and now it has a whole different kind of image, different kind of brand name. And I can tell it's the high end by the brands that they're carrying. They're not carrying like Levi's. They carry Levi's, they're carrying the upper end of the Levi's. So they're not carrying like Wagner's or anything else like that, because that's the lower end. Or Lee's, they're going to carry the higher end quality, because that's the brand name, that's the brand image that the store's coming in. You're coming in for the affluent, the more higher end social class, the people who's got money to spend. That's who I'm targeting. And then you look at mobile application. And remember, this chapter does really well. It looks at different mobile applications, looks at different search. In mobile applications, in my smartphone and everything else, is how are they targeting? And last week we talked about how they understood that the teenagers are using text messages. So now, okay, so it's the teenagers, but it's still a mobile application. How do I get the Generation Y and the other generations in there? So we should do pretty good. So that takes care of our what do you call it, this week. So you're going to have the overview. It's worth 50 points. You got the quiz. It's worth 30 points. You have the forum. Very interesting forum, some videos. Just remember, the forums and the videos and everything else is to help you written communications. It's help you to learn the subject matter. I know that this online class, and some of you take some other online class, may not be, this one is a little bit more intense than what you're used to, but let's admit it, you are learning a lot out of this class. You are not only just reading the textbook and you're on your own, you're in this group, you've made a lot of friends, you've got the YouTubes, you have everything else I could do. So again, hang in there. You're going to have a few more weeks. You got the paper due, you got the final due. You'll do very well because most of you, I have my B's and my A's. Yeah, I got a couple that are on the cuff back there, but you got to hang in there and you got to bring it in. Okay, so my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This is Consumer Behavior Marketing 247, offered by Harper College at Palatine, Illinois, in conjunction with in conjunction with Blackboard Course Management System. And I'll see you online in the forums as soon as I find my button here. And have a nice